What's up, weebs? We're back with another nice One Piece manga chapter, and today we'll talk about the chapter 1117, which was just released. In this chapter, we see people all over the world reacting to what's happening, the big clash we've been waiting for, and we find out if the Gorosei can stop the broadcast after finding the Denden Mushi in the last chapter. It's absolutely crazy how Oda can push out the chapters so quickly, and I seriously wonder how many editors Oda works with. The chapter starts where we left off in chapter 1116. The no-skins watching the video broadcast are still amazed. Vegapunk's broadcast has been revealing a lot about the Void Century, but people still have many questions about his non-stop revelations. We then move to Hachinosu, where the pirates are excited about finding new treasures. One pirate is in disbelief, thinking there might be a lot of treasures under the ocean floor, but another pirate calls him a pea-brain, reminding him that not everywhere in the world is full of gold for them to steal. In the background, we see three pirates we haven't seen since 1998, Don Krieg, Gin and Pearl. The last time we saw the characters, many of you probably weren't even born. Absolutely crazy. They finally made it past the Grand Line and into the new world. The last time we saw Gin was back in chapter 67. It's good to see how Oda still remembers these pirates after over 1,000 chapters. Gin once said he would meet them again in the Grand Line. I hope we see Gin's promise come true in the future. Next, the scene shifts to the depths of the ocean, where we see a sea beast and some mermaids swimming. The pirates continue talking, and one warns that the oceans are 200 meters deep and his friend might become food for the sea beast if he goes down looking for treasures. But the optimistic pirate believes there are ships that can dive 200 meters deep, so his dream might come true. However, the other pirate thinks it's impossible for them to afford such a ship and jokes about trying to meet a mermaid instead. Now, we move to the seas in the Grand Line. Listening to Vegapunk's broadcast again, Mont Blanc Cricket tells his crew that the Void Century was before Nalan's time. Mont Blanc Cricket asks the members of the Saruyama Alliance if they're up for another diving expedition. Masira and Shouju excitedly agree to join the expedition. Then the scene shifts to the GS Marine General Hospital, where the Sword members are recovering. They are injured and covered in bandages after the incident in Hachinosu. Lieutenant Commander Helmeppo tells Koby that Vegapunk's video broadcast might be about the One Piece. Hibari wonders about that too, commenting on how Vegapunk's revelations are making them think. Koby feels overwhelmed and says he'll write down everything later because he's finding it hard to keep up with all the thoughts in his head. Kujaku informs them that the captain is recovering well, as she had seen him earlier. As the conversation continues, Koby tells Prince Groose that things are really intense right now. Groose agrees and says they're facing a major crisis. From the sound of the broadcast, he believes they will soon get some difficult answers. Kujaku's looking forward to it, believing it's finally their time to step up. Meanwhile, Drake has returned from Wano and is resting in another room alone. Unlike Koby and the others who are discussing things, Drake remains silent. Then the scene moves to the seas of the New World. Just like Don Krieg, Gin and Pearl, after more than 10 years, we finally see Smoker. Smoker is on his billower bike in the middle of the sea. He contacts Tashigi via Denden Mushi and asks where she is. Tashigi replies that she's at the General Hospital. Next, we see more reactions from people watching the broadcast. Vegapunk realizes he's been quite vague about certain points, but he tells the whole world that he can't add anything more than speculation. The citizens don't like this. They protest and urge Vegapunk to keep talking. One person is eager to learn what Roger left behind before he was executed. Now, the scene shifts to Egghead Island. Nami with the big melons urges the crew to look ahead as the barrier is finally lifting. Suddenly, Nami hears a sound that startles her. The emergency food points out that the clouds have stopped stretching. Pinocchio thinks it's not a problem. He believes they are close enough to the sea and should be able to reach it. However, Lilith notices an issue. She tells everyone that they will land right on top of a fleet of ships. Brook quickly loads the cola barrels and notifies the crew that they can blast off at any moment. Nami thinks that's good news, but wonders why Jinbei hasn't arrived yet. The scene then shifts to Zoro and Jinbei. Jinbei informs Nami that they are close to the Thousand Sunny. He adds that they are chasing after a strange monster. Nami, confused, scolds them via Denden Mushi for taking detours when there's no time for it. Nami urges them to get back as soon as possible. Little does she know that the monster Jinbei and Zoro are chasing is one of the Gorosei, Nusjuro. Jinbei makes it clear they're not taking a detour and warns everyone that Nusjuro is heading straight for them. Jinbei also mentions that there is something special about the monster's presence. As soon as Jinbei says this, Nusjuro leaps above and starts to draw his sword, preparing to cut. The Thousand Sunny, Lilith, Chopper and Usopp are shocked, their eyes wide and jaws dropped as they realise the threat is one of the Gorosei. Nusjuro clenches his teeth in preparation for his attack. Just as Nusjuro is about to slash the Thousand Sunny, Jinbei, or in this case Gojo, uses a move called Fishman Jujutsu Kaisen, Kataguruma, to throw Zoro at tremendous speed. While flying through the air, Zoro gets into his battle stance to stop Nusjuro from destroying the ship. Nusjuro looks back and sees Zoro approaching fast. In the next moment, Zoro uses a new attack called Sukavati's Bliss, Paradise, Rashomon to stop Nusjuro. This is a new version of the Rashomon attack we first saw in episode 260 of the anime. Streaks of lightning and fire appear as their blades clash. Nusjuro notices something surprising. Zoro is wielding a Kitetsu blade. For those who don't know, there are 3 Kitetsu swords in One Piece. Each sword is weaker than the one before it. Zoro currently owns the Sandai Kitetsu, a grand sword crafted by Kozuki Sukiyaki. Kozuki Sukiyaki owns the Nidai Kitetsu, a great grade sword crafted by Kotetsu. The last one is the Shodai Kitetsu, a supreme grade sword. Nusjuro, recognizing Zoro's sword, confirms that he is wielding the Shodai Kitetsu. When their swords collide, Zoro and Nusjuro are blasted away by the impact. Jinbei quickly rushes to catch Zoro. Back on the deck of the Thousand Sunny, the worried Nami yells Zoro's name. Zoro responds by telling Nami to launch the ship, saying they'll jump on later. He knows there's no time to waste and they need to escape quickly. The scene then shifts to the northeast coast of Egghead. Bonnie is on the giant warrior pirate's ship, frustrated that Luffy hasn't arrived at their meeting point yet. Bonnie is hopeful that Luffy will hurry as they can't hold off the enemies much longer. Meanwhile, the Marines are pumped up. Vice Admiral Hound urges everyone to sink the ancient pirate ship, reminding them it's just one vessel, even if it looks legendary. Elsewhere, Sanji and Atlas are looking for Luffy. Atlas is frustrated that their signal isn't getting through due to the chaos around them. Sanji, on the other hand, is shouting out to Luffy, hoping to find him soon. Luffy, Dory and Brogy are near the shore of Egghead. Luffy excitedly announces they're arriving and tells everyone to get ready to set sail. Sanji, hearing Luffy's loud voice, feels relieved. Atlas gets excited and says, "Alright," as they prepare for their escape. The scene shifts to the northeast coast of Egghead Island again. Oimo and Kashi are delighted to see their captains approaching. Dory orders the crew to get the ship ready and the giants assure him that they'll handle it. One giant signals to set sail and asks everyone to turn the ship to leave, but the Marines won't let them escape easily. As the giants and Marines continue fighting, Vice Admiral Urban reminds the Marines that these pirates are from over 100 years ago. He urges them to keep fighting and not be scared of the giants, calling them fossils. As more giants join the battle, Urban orders the Marines to keep pushing back, but they struggle against the powerful giants. Bluegrass arrives and criticizes the Marines for their sloppy performance, reminding them they should be examples of justice. Bluegrass tells them to step up and be stars, then fires a beam from the sea beast weapon, blasting a hole in the giant warrior pirate's ship. Kashi is shocked by the damage. In the next moment, Dole follows up the attack, aiming to punch a hole in Kashi himself. She uses a move called Rock and Roll Blaster and takes down Kashi. The Marines celebrate the Vice Admiral's victory, amazed by Dole and Bluegrass's power. Meanwhile, a giant shouts Kashi's name in distress. Back to the Marines, their morale is rising as they want to keep fighting despite the giant enemies. The scene shifts back to the shore of Egghead Island. Luffy is surprised that Walkery has suddenly disappeared. Dory and Brogy feel relieved, thinking they can now focus on boarding the ship. Brogy laughs and agrees it's time to set sail. Luffy, still puzzled, wonders where the giant boar went. Unbeknownst to him, Walkery has gone to meet the other Gorosei. The scene shifts to another part of Egghead Island. Saturn, Mars, Jupiter and Walkery are now confronting the Iron Giant. As they prepare to fight, we cut back to the video broadcast. Vegapunk reveals he has one last message for everyone. He says this upcoming revelation is for those scattered across the world. The Gorosei group up against the ancient robot and we return to the broadcast. Mars stares at the Iron Giant and realizes something about its identity. He recognizes it as the same Iron Giant that attacked Mary Joyce 200 years ago. Walkery, seeing the same thing, believes there's no doubt it's the very same giant. Vegapunk continues his message, saying his last words are for those with a D in their name. The Gorosei, fed up with Vegapunk's revelations, charge toward the Iron Giant to destroy it. We briefly see the reactions of pirates and others with the letter D in their names. Dragon remains silent, Sabo thinks of Luffy and Ace, and Kobe remembers Luffy and Vice Admiral Garp. The message also catches the attention of Marshal D. Teach. Beepo calls out to his captain upon hearing the transmission. They all eagerly await Vegapunk's next words. As the broadcast continues, Vegapunk says there is something special about the people with D in their names, but he won't reveal it just yet. The scene returns to the Iron Giant, who is thrown into the air by Walkery's attack. The transmission ends with a few buzzes, cutting off with the word Mo. As the Iron Giant crashes into the fleet of ships, Walkery is fed up with the trouble caused by Vegapunk's revelations. Meanwhile, people around the world are stunned and upset that the broadcast was cut off so suddenly. The scene shifts to Big News Morgan's headquarters. Vivi wonders what Vegapunk was about to say and asks if the signal got jammed. Morgans wants to know what the letter D in Luffy and others' names means, especially since Vivi also carries the letter D. The camera briefly focuses on Saint Saturn and Saint Mars. They look less tense now that they've stopped the broadcast. The scene shifts to Punk Records, where York falls to her knees in relief, saying it's over. The words echo in vain as the chapter ends. What do you think Vegapunk was trying to say about the people who carry the will of D? And were you as excited as I was to see old characters come back after so long? I was a really small boy back then, when I saw them in the anime for the last time. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please comment below and let me know what you think. As always, if you enjoyed this video, press like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future One Piece chapters like this one. There's no break next week, so I'll catch you in the next video. Till then, peace out.